Well, Blaze, Sports Talk returns. Our first official Sports Talk of the 2026 high school football season. A new look.
Yeah.
A different vibe here in the CTV studio, but you still get to see our beautiful faces. Football is back.
It's back.
And we have a lot to get to.
Oh, yeah.
Our first official week of high school football beginning this week. We're going to get into the GHSA action as we roll through the week. Remember, we're going to be here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the entire school year. So not just football, we get basketball, we get baseball a little bit later on. But first, before we get to that, we have to take a look back. A few GIAA teams already giving us first answers of 2026, and now the full South Georgia football calendar is going to arrive for a Friday night. Let's take a look back, Blaze, to last Friday. CCA, Baker County, 41-8, Valwood, Deerfield, 45-13. Those were the two marquee games that we were at to cover. We're not going to overreact.
No, never.
But CCA and Valwood give us our first evidence that football is now here. Preseason expectations are now have to become a reality, right? If you were expecting big things, you have to have it now. What were your first takeaways from those two games?
Well, I was at Valwood, Deerfield. If I left that game at half, obviously I had to get back here and anchor. I left that game at half. It was a very even game. I walked away being like, okay, this is going to be a lot closer than I honestly thought. And then you see that final score and you're like, oh, okay. A tide kind of turned in that second half. Obviously Valwood in total control. We'll get into more on Stanton Beverly later, but Deerfield young, very young. We knew that from the start. They played young. They made young mistakes, but lots of upside. I wouldn't call this season, garbage. I'm not throwing away this season for the Knights, but they do have a lot to learn and they need to learn it quickly and they need to kind of find their rhythm. And I think they're going to do that. Obviously, playing Valwood week one, that's hard. That's hard for a young team. It's a rivalry game, and Valwood just outplayed them.
Yeah, you mentioned there just one of those games, and rivalry games are always interesting. They could be the blowout like we've seen, or they could be, a really, really close game. So you were out at Valwood in Hahira. I was out in Douglas for CCA taking on Baker County. And let me just tell you, all the hype that I threw on CCA, the boys lived up to it. They did their job. Coach Jed Marsh and that team, the way they came out, the energy, the defense, they set the tone for what 2026 can be. 41-8 win to start a year is always nice, and we expected that from this Patriots team. And they did it in a number of ways, but it started with the leadership, the returning quarterback, the returning running back, and then a defensive-first identity. I mean, just some guys that stood out to me, all young. Damian Duran, Clay Phillips, both with a sack. Clay Phillips, 7 tackles. Bo Roberts, another sophomore, 7 tackles. And then you had the senior leader in Connor Reckley with 7 tackles of his own. I thought the defense set the standard for what this program wants to be. And it was fun and exciting to watch 8-man football. For those of you that hate on the 8-man football, it was worth the watch if you're a CCA fan.
Well, that was my question about CCA. I know a lot of times you play 8-man like Sherwood. They played 8-man, now they're going up to 11-man. Have we seen the fullest potential of this CCA team?
I mean, fullest potential is a state championship. I think this could be the start of maybe that Sherwood run that we saw 3 years ago. I really do. I like what they're building. They're in the weight room. Everybody's bought in. The excitement, the energy is there. And I'm not saying that most 8-man teams lack energy, but there is something that separates the Sherwood Christians when they were winning titles, now the CCAs, from the other 8-man football teams that look just a little bit lackluster. And, going into that, I'll be honest, I thought Baker County going into this season was in a good spot with Taylor Sanders under center, Ronnie Williams on the outside to make a splash and make a name for themselves. And they hit that 80-yard touchdown early, but the energy just seemed to die out. It just didn't seem like they had the energy. And maybe that was CCA, busting them in the mouth and kind of saying, hey, welcome to the 2026 season. But I just didn't see necessarily what I wanted to see.
I think this says a lot about the Patriots just because a lot of times first game, you got the jitters. You can play down to your opponent's level. They did exactly what they needed to do. They blew them out. And, I mean, anything closer, we would have been like, maybe the CCA team isn't exactly what we were thinking. They proved everyone wrong. Any doubts in anyone's mind, they blew out this team. They took control. It's exactly how you need to open up a season.
So where does that now leave CCA? We're talking about raising the bar and taking that next step. I picked them to win region. I thought they had a chance to make a state run. The question is no longer can they improve. Where do you see this CCA team now, and just how high is their ceiling?
I mean, I think their ceiling is tremendously high. My real opinion on them will be formed after this week. They're playing DEA, a very good team who just blew out one of our teams, Georgia Christian. I'm interested to see how CCA handles really good, even competition. If they do exactly what they did to Baker, I'm going to be here in the next week being like, yeah, they're winning state, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. Tyson Crosby and Dalton Rogers, that 1-2 combination out of the backfield. Dalton Rogers is, I swear, he's like 5'6", maybe 5'7", and he just runs like an absolute Derrick Henry-esque bulldog.
Oh, Derrick Henry.
Small but physical.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks for contact. He loves it. I think he's a game changer. I think he's going to be really, really big for them. He's just a sophomore, so he has a couple of more seasons. I really like what they're able to bring, and I think offensively, this was just the start of where this team can go. On the other side, Baker County. Look, it's just week 1. We're not going to overreact.
No.
How do you respond to the lackluster performance of week 1?
You got to get more points on the board. I need you to score at least 2 tutties if you're the Bears this week. They just got to kind of get that momentum back. If you get blown out by 30, 40 points back to back, that kills it. That kills the locker room vibe. It kills just everything you've been practicing. You start to kind of get down on yourself. You know what I mean? They need to come out there. They need to score early. I need 2 touchdowns. And then we can talk about them. But they have one more game. And then they go into GAPPS play. So obviously that's what they're playing for. You get one more win this week, sets you up nicely for conference play.
Yeah, they'll get Westwood on Thursday. We'll be out at that one. For me, look, they're going to have to keep Taylor Sanders healthy. He took a lot of hits, and I worry about his ability to stay fresh when you're taking that many hits under center. They're going to have to find a way to run the football. They did not run the football very well at all, and they were trying to make explosive plays, and there was some of that there. We saw that with the bomb, but they're going to have to find more of that if they want to continue to build and be more successful in week number 2. Switching sides, let's get back to Hira. You mentioned Stanton Beverly, 12 of 19, 219 yards. Oh, yeah. But it wasn't just with his arm. He was doing it all.
Oh, my God. Yeah, 145 rushing yards and 1 rushing TD. I mean, he looked so in control. That's his team. The guys were responding well to him. He was locked in the whole time. And it helps when you got dudes on your outside. I mean, Malachi Thomas, he had 90 receiving yards, 2 tutties. Kamari Jackson, running back, 137 yards. I mean, when you got guys left and right of you and you're great under center, I like Valwood this year. I really do.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Beverly name, he came over from FPD or Frederica. I think that's a good addition, especially with Asher Wells not being under center this year. No more guys that they're used to having there. Right. And I think that's the biggest thing. They've moved on from this different regime, and now it's Beverly's team, and you saw what he did. He, again, 4 touchdowns through the air, 1 rushing on the ground. You like that from a week 1 standpoint.
You couldn't tell that he's new. I mean, the way he just commanded this offense, it looked like
he's a big, tall kid.
Exactly. Too. You can't miss him. It looked like he has been in this program since he was in 8th grade. That he was in total control.
On the flip side, let's talk a little bit about the defense. 24 tackles for Valwood between Tristan Gaines and Hamp Tanner. This defense has lost a lot over the last few seasons, and now these guys come in. They're young. They're aggressive. To slow down an offense like Deerfield, again, Deerfield's young. We're going to get to them in a minute.
Dudes.
But they have guys, and we know what kind of offensive style they've ran under Coach McCray. They've been able to score a lot of points. To come in and have that type of performance to lead a defense, specifically in a rivalry game, how impressive is that? So
impressive, especially when you take into account Knights didn't score that whole second half. It was a whole different ball game. I get there. Knights had 2 back-to-back scores. Okay, we got a game now. No, second half was just all the defense couldn't even let the Knights get anywhere.
And you have to give credit to Coach Wells going in there, making halftime adjustments to fix whatever it is that was not working in the first half. On the Deerfield side, look, they're going to lean a lot on Turner Simmons.
He was great.
He had 54 rushing yards, a touchdown. He also had 13 tackles on the defensive side. Knowing that you're going to have to lean on a guy that's been there before, how much pressure does that put on him? And I mean, he looks like he was able to handle it in week 1, but now there might even be asking him to do more in order for them to get the win.
Obviously, that puts a lot of pressure on him. Puts a lot of pressure on the guys around him. You cannot have him get injured. If he goes down, he did go down. It looked like it could have been serious. It was just cramping. Okay, good, false alarm. But you guys got to protect him. The Knights have to absolutely guard him with his life. They need him and J.P. Hutchins. Running back J.P. Hutchins was also great, but you got to protect these guys. They're not super deep. We know that. And so the returners that you do have, they got to stay healthy for this whole season.
It's a struggle when you come out week 1 and you lose to your rival the way that Deerfield did. But they did have a nice showing in the first half. They just weren't able to sustain maybe some of that depth that we know they were lacking. Might need to pick it up as the season goes on. On the offensive side, Maddox Skipper, 16-25 touchdown. The thing that kind of stuck out to me is they do have a plethora of weapons that they're trying to get the ball to. 4 different wide receivers had 30-plus receiving yards or more. I think that speaks highly to where they can go from here. There's a number of guys that can catch and run after the catch and do those types of things. Banks Revel had a touchdown, and then we mentioned the Turner Simmons touchdown. Offensively, what would you have liked to see from Deerfield?
Maddox Skipper, he was great. He plays like an underclassman. So I think, again, a few weeks he's going to keep getting that growth, but same thing we've been seeing in a couple of these teams, the snaps under center. They're way above here. That throws you off completely.
The quarterback center exchange operation has to be better.
That was you could walk into that game and not know anything about football, and that would be your takeaway. You'd be like, why is he snapping the ball way up here? That needs to be solved immediately. But other than that, I thought he played composed. He handled the pressure. There were a lot of people there, under the Friday night lights for the first time in varsity. I think he handled it well. I'm excited to see how he progresses. But again, you need to clean up the little mistakes. That's definitely the biggest thing.
I'm sure Coach McCray will make sure that's taking place right now this week as we head into week 2 for GIAA. Look, we're just getting started. The GHSA full slate of action starts this Friday night. We're going to tackle some of the game of the week stuff. We're going to announce our game of the week and some big time matchups for Friday night. So more sports talk on the way. Stick with us. There it is, your first game of the week, Blaze. Colquitt County taking on Thomas County Central for the first time since 2012. It's been nearly 15 years.
12.
Okay, we didn't have to do that since we've seen this matchup, and it's going to be WALB's first game of the week of the 2026 season. First of all, how exciting is it to be the new game of the week, girl?
It's very exciting. I feel like I'm Big Dog Morgan Jackson out here, I got to give a shout out to her. She laid the groundwork, kind of gave us this whole game of the week vibe. I'm excited. 2 teams that I couldn't imagine covering for the game 1. I mean, how perfect is this? The history, not even the history between the 2 programs because they're so storied. Coach Rogers, he used to coach there. Then Sean Calhoun takes over for him. I mean, this is great.
You could draw up a better storyline.
Literally,
Both of these programs have won 2 state championships since the last time they've met. That's a great storyline. We got new quarterbacks that are going to be in play we're going to talk about. Now, again, today we're going to touch very surface level.
Yeah, we don't want to give it away too much.
We have so much more coming this week, especially our Game of the Week preview on Thursday. Our hometown tailgate on Friday. I would be remiss if I didn't bring that up right away. We will be at Fallon's out in Thomasville. Pre-game, we are going to have a great show. You guys are going to see the big locker room report mobile unit
truck thing.
You're going to see us. We might have some special guests.
Good food.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Some food, and we're going to be talking all things game of the week and some of the big matchups across South Georgia for the first locker room report of the season. I'm just really excited because since I took over here, we've kind of evolved every year. We've tried to add a little bit. We've tried to add a little spice here, add a little this. This year we're in this room. We're doing this all on the fly. Got our notes. We don't have to push buttons as much today. But
thank God.
But we're doing some new things every year. Hometown Tailgate is something that was brought by Morgan. And now we're going to continue that tradition to hit local restaurants in the communities of these games of the week. The game is what really matters, though.
Oh, man.
Why does it matter so much to these communities, these high school football games? I don't remember, and maybe it's just
because where we're from. Yeah, it just means more here. This is the SEC. Like when
this is the
California, Illinois, they don't do it like they do it down here. This is everything. And the fact that these 2 programs, obviously storied, they have history between them. They're only a couple miles away from each other. They're not in the same region. But they're already talking smack. Some of the guys on TCC, I'm like, you guys know anyone on the team? Yeah, I know some guys on the team. Yeah, we've been talking. Like, yeah, we're putting money on us. Like, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is a big time. So it means more.
And they're good. And it's not just 2 programs that don't like each other. They're good programs. And look, TCC is kind of beginning this rebuild or reload after losing some of their staples over the last 2 state championships. You have Colquitt County, built a little bit different. They're trying to get back to what they were a few years ago when they had some of those guys, Nico Fan, Nye Carr, Landon Thomas, some of those guys. Both teams are going to have new quarterbacks under center. the deciding lens, does it really just come down to quarterback play at the end of this for these two teams?
No, I think it's going to come down to, honestly, running backs and receivers. Both teams, honestly, on paper, both teams have very similar structures. New quarterbacks, they get a couple new transfers. You're replacing a running back on each program that was storied.
Yeah, one going to Wake Forest, one going to
exactly.
Georgia.
And they're all replacing them by committee. They're very similar on paper, the storylines. So I think it's going to come down, especially it's going to come out obviously down to running backs, receivers. More importantly, both teams most uncomfortable with their offensive line. So I do think it's going to be a high scoring game, and I do think whoever's line can kind of mature immediately once that first quarter starts counting down. I think that's going to be the answer of who wins.
Yeah, a lot of new guys on the Colquitt side, new guys on the Thomas County Central side. A lot of graduates that have gone on. This is going to be fun.
At the Jackets Nest.
At the Jackets Nest, it's going to be buzzing.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean.
I'll be saying that a lot. So.
We're going to keep the puns to a minimal today. I do want to talk about third down. I think third down's an important factor when you have two teams that are this close or closely built or similarly built. Can either team avoid some of those negative plays? That's going to be a big factor in deciding who wins this one.
And on the TCC side, their new QB, Aiden McPherson, coach has said he's kind of the guy that can just make stuff happen when the play falls apart.
Could be big.
I think that's going to be huge for them.
You got a chance to go out to Thomas County Central on Monday. Vibes out there? What?
Low budget, they don't really. Just in the multi-million-dollar facility, very low down there. No, I mean, the vibes were high. Coach wasn't super thrilled with some of the stuff, offensive line, just young guys needing to grow. He told me in the beginning of the season, I said, give me a word to describe this team. He said teenage. He's staying with that word right now. He said they grew up a little bit. He needs them to really leaps and bounds in the next few weeks. This game is going to be able to tell us a lot about the maturity level of that Thomas County O-line and team in general.
You talked about, you mentioned when you went out there, you said, why is JV inside and varsity outside? It was 100+ degrees.
I'm outside.
The varsity team at the outside facility.
Yeah, they ended up switching, and I looked at one of the O-line coach. I was like, are you guys going to go back outside again? And he's like, nah, it's too hot. I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm the one in full
Okay,
panic.
so they're using the indoor facility.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
You don't want Blaze to sweat too much.
Please,
she
no,
gets
I'm
upset.
talent. Exactly. But no, I mean, the vibes were high. Everyone was good. I think the rest of the week is going to be a little more no nonsense. Some of the guys were having a little too much fun out there. So I think we're going to lock that down. And yeah, I'm headed out to Colquitt today, so I'm looking forward to that.
We'll have an update from what the Colquitt vibes are heading into the big region or non-region matchup against Thomas County Central coming up for you guys tomorrow. But still to come, there is more on the way. We are going to leave the Game of the Week talk for a little bit later in the week. We're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about 4 more games on Friday night that you are not going to want to miss. Stick with us. Welcome back into Sports Talk, our first sports talk of the 2026 high school football, high school season in general. First of many. Yeah, that's correct.
They're going to get
52 weeks in a year, minus 6 months. I don't know how many. I don't do math.
I
I do sports, and let's talk about some sports. Brooks County, Worth County. This is the game that I will be at this week. I've already assigned it. You know me, Trojans versus Rams. Those people out there in Sylvester, they tell me I'm sleeping on Worth County this year, Blaze.
They're lying.
Look, they're starting a 15-0 title defense run in a new classification against a Brooks County team that brings in Junior Burris and George Lame as one of the best receivers, tight ends in the nation. What say you about this matchup?
First of all, correct me if I'm wrong. If my game of the week didn't exist, I'm pretty sure this is where I'd want to be.
This one very well could have been the game of the week.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited. I want to see Worth County's defense handle Burris and Layman's. I think that's what it's going to come down to. But 2 great coaches, 2 great programs. Again, great week 1 matchup. We're just getting fed.
You talk about that defense, so let's talk about it. No more Chance Sims. No more Brady Weaver.
Yeah.
No more Josh McGee. No more Dwight Council. No more Deshaun Rockwell. 6 of the 8 top tacklers on Worth County are no longer in the building. Guess what that means? You're probably going to have 6 new tackle leaders.
Well, I am excited. He's a junior now, Malik Muhammad. Big old boy.
Correct.
He was huge on D last year, 71 tackles, I think.
He was one of the top 8.
And now he returns as a junior, which thank God he's going to be here next year.
Massive.
I mean, he's just keep growing and getting better. He's going to anchor the line. And then you got a couple of other guys, Malik Green, Jamone Williams. They are going to be the guys that are having some veteran experience on this line.
Dalen Smith, Malik Muhammad, and Trey Matthews are the only players really that had significant snaps last year that are coming back that are going to have to be huge. They're going to have to rely on those guys' veteran leadership in order to produce a defense. They're also losing their defensive coordinator. So what does that look like? He's now over at Lee County.
Looks like Lee's going to have real good defense.
Lee County looks like they're going to have a good defense. So Trey Matthews, the only player that's coming back that has an interception last year. Turnovers, again, key. Brady Weaver and Chance Sims had a lot of those last year. So it's going to look different. And in order to stop an offense that features George Layman's, you need guys that can match up. So I'm interested to see how they kind of fill those voids. And I'm excited to learn some of the new names that we don't know yet and how they're going to step up. I think Worth County will find a way to be good enough defensively that they're still going to win enough games. But is it going to take them to what it did last year, where it took them from a really good team with a really good offense to a championship team?
That's going to be the question. I think last year they started winning a few games, and we were like, okay, Worth. It took until they were about maybe.
I told you day one.
When they were maybe 4-0, then I was like, okay, these are some guys that we got going on here. I will say,
the defense is going to be the question.
Yeah, and obviously I don't know how this game is going to end up, but it being at Worth County, those folks in Sylvester don't mess around.
They sure don't.
They got those cannons booming. They're going to scare every bit
I hate
of you.
those things. They
little jumpy.
every time I'm trying to film, I hate it. All right,
I think that's a huge. Good upside to Worth County. It's at home.
I think it's an experienced passing game of Brooks County versus a young defense of Worth County, and to me that'll be kind of the deciding factor. We'll dive deeper into that one as we get through the week. Thomasville Cairo, region champions. Brian Duncan's back. They have some of their guys, Zaquavian Teal. He's back. Thomasville kind of new up front. Cairo's defensive line pretty strong.
Yep.
That could be a matchup to watch, and now you have to protect a new quarterback in Christian Hayes.
Yes, I haven't seen Christian Hayes play yet. When I went out there for our pre-show, he was not there. He had to do like pictures or something. I haven't seen him play yet, but he's now a first-year quarterback in high school. He was playing corner the rest of the time. I'm excited to see how he kind of presents himself.
They're going to use his legs.
Yeah, obviously.
Young offensive line, get him out in space. I talked about this in our Counting on the Kickoffs. A lot of sprint option stuff outside, some rollout stuff, so he can see over the line of scrimmage. He's not a big guy, but they're going to have to use his athletic ability if they want to have a chance to go deep this year. And then can Cairo's secondary hold up against Thomasville, seeing that those are where they're the weakest, or some of the new guys. Brian Duncan's going to have a lot on his plate this week.
Absolutely. It's going to be the Brian Duncan show. I know we're not making picks yet. I think this is Cairo in full control almost the entire game.
Okay. You heard it there. Bold statement right off the bat.
I'm going Cairo.
Coach DeLay.
Sorry,
One thing I might know about Coach DeLay, I'm not counting him out on a Tuesday.
No. Brian Duncan.
Not going to happen with me. We'll leave that to her. We'll let you go back out to DeRose City a little bit later on. Hapeville Charter and Lee County. Lee County, Jordan Bush, Cohen Lawson. Now it looks like maybe a tandem at quarterback. They both looked really good in that Carver-Columbus scrimmage. Obviously, the weapons, Carter Blackwell, Jaden Upshaw, Dominique Ball in the backfield. But last season, this was a 0-0 game at the half between Hapeville Charter, which was a 2A school. The slow starts of Lee County.
What I was just going to say.
How do they avoid it?
I don't know. We were asking that question all year last year. It seemed like every Friday we're like, Coach, how are you going to get these guys up? I'm hoping that now that a lot of these veteran guys are back, they have it under their belt, they're hungry, they know how good they can be, they want this, they want to win that state title. I'm hoping they wake up, but I don't want a sloppy, slow, turnover-ridden start for the Trojans. I'm kind of sick of it, and I think these guys are too.
Discipline, penalties, turnovers, and come out with a fast start. And if I see that this week against Hapeville Charter, it'll make me feel real confident in my pick for the Trojans to win the region. All right. Final game that we're going to talk about of our four, Ware County at Bainbridge, kind of a new regime out there in Decatur. Jamie DeBose this new smart, fast, and physical mindset, it seems like it's translating pretty quickly for a team that hadn't done well in the last 2 years.
Right. He likes the progress his team has made in this summer. And again, he's brand new, but we know he can coach. We know he can win. He was at Valdosta. Like he wants to win. This 1-9 stuff that the Bearcats have been used to is not going to fly. And I really do think we're going to see a new Bainbridge team out there.
Well, look, they're going to have their hands full this week. They have a tough Ware County team that brings back a lot of veterans in key spots. Demetrius, Isaiah White at quarterback, Jelani O'Hara, the wide receiver on the outside, and then Jamarian Keehan, an explosive running back. That Bainbridge defense looked pretty good against Tift in the scrimmage early on and started to have some holes late. They're going to have to hold up. He brings back his 2 outside linebackers. That includes Christian Garland. He's going to play a big role in what they're able to do up front defensively in that front 7. It's going to be a tough task against a Ware County team, but I think it's a good test early in the season.
When you went out there, did you feel that smart, fast, physical mentality?
I definitely thought it looked better than it has in the past 2 seasons. And
I'd hope so.
I guess they could only go up.
Right, like
step in the right direction. Look, we have so much more to come this week on Sports Talk. We are going to go deeper into the TCC Colquitt County matchup. We're going to go deeper into some of these games as well as some of the others, and we'll tackle the GIAA coming up for you tomorrow evening. But for our first episode, that's it.
That's it.
It goes by so fast. She's Mackenzie Blaze. I'm Aaron Mukes, and we will see you guys tomorrow night, South Georgia.